The Forgotten Planet. The Milky Way galaxy had known peace for 3,000 years. 537 species lived under the protective umbrella of the Galactic Federation, a massive bureaucratic entity that controlled trade routes, managed disputes, and maintained what they called cosmic harmony. From the crystalline spires of Altair Prime to the floating cities of the Zephyr Collective, every advanced civilization had its place in this grand tapestry of interstellar cooperation. Every civilization, except one. In the archives of the Federation's central library on Nexus Station, buried beneath layers of digital dust and forgotten protocols, lay a single entry about a small blue planet in an unremarkable spiral arm of the galaxy. The entry was brief. Sol System, Planet 3, Designation, Earth, Species, Human. Application for Federation membership, denied. Reason, insufficient technological development, aggressive tendencies, quarantine recommended. Date of last contact, Galactic Standard Year 2247. That was 800 years ago. High Admiral Zix Theta of the Corvonian Empire stood before the Federation Council, his four arms gesturing expressively as he delivered his quarterly security report. The massive chamber, designed to accommodate beings of various sizes and atmospheric requirements, hummed with the quiet efficiency of advanced life support systems. Esteemed colleagues, Zix Theta's voice resonated through the universal translator system. Our Border Patrol's report continued stability across all sectors. The Andromedan trade dispute has been resolved, and the quantum storms in the Vega system have subsided. The galaxy remains at peace. A murmur of satisfaction rippled through the assembly. Peace was profitable, and profit was the universal language that bound the Federation together more strongly than any treaty. However, Zix Theta continued, his compound eyes flickering with what might have been uncertainty. There is one small anomaly I must report. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected unusual energy signatures from the Sol system. The reaction was immediate and dismissive. Ambassador Kretok of the Silicon Hegemony emitted a grinding sound that served as laughter among her people. The Sol system? You mean that backwater where those primitive humans live? What could they possibly be doing that warrants our attention? The energy signatures are unusual, Zix Theta admitted. They don't match any known technology in our databases. Our analysts believe the humans might be experimenting with fusion power. This time, the laughter was universal. Fusion power was considered ancient technology, something most species had mastered before achieving faster-than-light travel. That humanity was only now discovering it seemed to confirm everything the Federation believed about the species. Let them play with their atomic fires, declared Supreme Counselor Vex High, his tentacles waving dismissively. When they accidentally destroy their own planet, it will save us the trouble of maintaining the quarantine. Next item on the agenda. The meeting moved on, and Earth was once again forgotten. But in the cold depths of space, something was stirring. 3 light years from Earth, hidden in the sensor shadow of a brown dwarf star, Federation Monitoring Station Epsilon 7 maintained its silent vigil. The station was a relic from more paranoid times, one of hundreds scattered throughout the galaxy to watch for potential threats. Most had been decommissioned centuries ago, but Epsilon 7 remained active, its sole occupant dutifully filing reports that no one read. Observer Jixmar of the Scission Collective had drawn the short straw, so to speak. Assignment to Epsilon 7 was considered a punishment, a career dead end where ambitious officers were sent to contemplate their failures. Jixmar had been here for 50 standard years, watching nothing happen in the Sol system, filing report after report of no significant activity. Until today. The quantum sensors screamed to life, jolting Jixmar from his meditation. He rushed to the control panel, his elongated fingers dancing across the holographic interface. What he saw made his secondary heart skip a beat. "This is impossible," he whispered to himself, checking and rechecking the data. The energy readings from the Sol system had spiked beyond anything in recorded history. But it wasn't just the magnitude that troubled him. It was the signature itself. The patterns were unlike anything in the Federation's vast technological database. Jixmar began recording a priority message. Federation Command, this is Observer Jixmar at Epsilon 7. I'm detecting massive energy discharges from the Sol system. The readings they're off the scale. Requesting immediate consultation with the Science Directorate. He sent the message and waited. The response came back within hours, remarkably fast for Federation bureaucracy. But it wasn't what he expected. Observer Jixmar, your report has been reviewed and filed. No action required. Continue routine monitoring. Jixmar stared at the message in disbelief. He looked back at his sensors, where the energy signatures continued to pulse with impossible complexity. For the first time in his long career, Observer Jixmar decided to break protocol. He began a detailed analysis of the signatures, working outside official channels. What he discovered would change everything. Deep in the Sol system, beyond the orbit of Neptune, space itself seemed to ripple and bend. A massive structure, hidden behind layers of advanced stealth technology, came online for the first time. It was a shipyard unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, constructed in secret over centuries using technologies that shouldn't exist. The humans called it Forge Alpha, and it had just completed its primary objective. Commander Zhang Wei stood on the observation deck of the hidden facility, watching as the final pieces of humanity's greatest achievement locked into place. The ship before him defied conventional design philosophy. It was massive, yes, but its true power lay in the revolutionary technologies woven into every atom of its structure. Status report, Zhang commanded, his voice calm despite the magnitude of the moment. All systems nominal, Commander, replied Dr. Sarah O'Brien, head of the Quantum Propulsion Project. The dimensional matrices are stable. Weapons systems are online. The stealth field is holding at 99.8% efficiency. Zhang nodded. And our friends from the Federation. Still blind as bats, grinned Colonel Marcus Rodriguez from the tactical station. Their monitoring station keeps sending the same automated scans. They have no idea we're here. The irony wasn't lost on Zhang. The Federation had dismissed humanity as primitive, unworthy of membership in their Grand Alliance. They had imposed a quarantine, thinking to protect the galaxy from human aggression. But in their arrogance, they had made a critical error. They had given humanity time. 800 years of time. 800 years to study the quantum signatures of passing Federation ships. 800 years to reverse engineer technologies from crashed probes and careless broadcasts. 800 years to prepare. Commander, Dr. O'Brien's voice interrupted his thoughts. We're receiving the final signal from Earth. Project Prometheus is authorized for launch. Zhang took a deep breath. Somewhere in the depths of the ship below him, quantum reactors hummed to life, generating power levels that would make Federation scientists weep with envy. The time for hiding was almost over. Begin final countdown, he ordered, and send word to all hidden installations. Phase 1 is complete. Initiate Phase 2. Across the solar system, similar messages spread through quantum channels the Federation couldn't detect. On Mars, beneath the red sands, massive hangar doors began to open. In the asteroid belt, dormant weapons platforms awakened. And on Earth itself, in bunkers buried beneath mountains and oceans, humanity's children prepared for the announcement that would shake the galaxy. The Prometheus wasn't just a ship. It was a statement. A declaration that humanity was no longer the primitive species the Federation had dismissed, that Earth would no longer be ignored. 3 days later, Observer Jixmar detected something that made his previous readings seem trivial. A massive object had appeared near Neptune, as if from nowhere. The stealth field that had hidden it was gone, revealing a ship that challenged everything he thought he knew about human capabilities. This time, his message to Federation Command was different. This time, it contained a single word that would echo through the halls of power across the galaxy. The silent buildup. Federation High Command erupted into chaos. The emergency session had been called at midnight, Galactic Standard Time, dragging sleeping ambassadors and military officials from their quarters across Nexus Station. The holographic displays showed the impossible. A human warship of unprecedented size and power, broadcasting its presence for all to see. How did we miss this? Supreme Admiral Thax slammed his chitinous fist on the council table. 800 years of quarantine, and they build this under our very sensors. Perhaps, suggested Science Director Melora, her crystalline form pulsing with agitation, our assumptions about human capabilities were flawed. The room fell silent. No one wanted to voice what they were all thinking, that perhaps humanity had been playing a longer game than anyone imagined. Deploy the 7th Fleet, ordered Chancellor Vrix, the current rotating head of the Federation Council. Full reconnaissance. I want to know everything about this Prometheus and how the humans built it. Back at monitoring station Epsilon 7, observer Jixmar worked feverishly. His subsequent scans had revealed something even more disturbing than the Prometheus itself. The energy signatures he'd been detecting for months weren't from Earth at all. They were coming from dozens of locations throughout the Sol system. The humans hadn't just built one ship. They had transformed their entire solar system into a fortress. On the bridge of the Prometheus, Captain Sofia Martinez stood before the main view screen, watching as Federation scout ships began emerging from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. She was a veteran of Earth's secret space force, one of thousands who had trained in hidden facilities while the rest of humanity remained unaware of the larger galaxy. Captain, her first officer, Commander Chen Lu, reported, Federation scouts maintaining position at the heliobos. They're scanning us with everything they've got. Martinez smiled. Let them look. It's time they learned what humans are capable of. Activate the demonstration protocol. The Prometheus responded to her command with fluid grace. The ship's mass, equivalent to a small moon, began to move with impossible agility. Inertial dampeners that violated 3 separate laws of Federation physics allowed it to accelerate at rates that should have crushed everything aboard. On the Federation scouts, alarms blared as their sensors tried to make sense of what they were seeing. The human ship wasn't just large. It was using propulsion technology that shouldn't exist. Multiple quantum signatures detected, reported the lead scout's science officer. A human vessel appears to be. It's folding space around itself. That's impossible. The power requirements alone. The officer's report was cut short as the Prometheus vanished from their sensors, only to reappear moments later on the opposite side of the solar system. The maneuver had taken less than 3 seconds. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, in a facility known only as Forge Beta, Commander Vera Chen monitored the Federation's response. Unlike her distant cousin on the Prometheus, Vera's role was strategic planning. For 20 years, she had been Earth's primary military architect, designing the silent network of defenses that now protected human space. They're bringing in more ships, her aide reported. The 7th Fleet is mobilizing, and they're calling for reinforcements from the Andromedan sector. Vera nodded, unseeing. Her cybernetic implants process thousands of tactical scenarios simultaneously. They'll try to intimidate us first, a show of force to make us reveal our capabilities. How many of our assets remain hidden? 87%, Commander. The Prometheus is drawing all their attention, just as planned. Perfect. Initiate contact protocols. It's time to introduce ourselves properly. The message that reached the Federation Council was elegant in its simplicity. To the Galactic Federation, from the United Earth Government, greetings. For 8 centuries, you have quarantined our world, judging us unworthy of joining your alliance. We have used this time wisely. The Prometheus is our greeting card. We request formal diplomatic negotiations regarding Earth's status in the galaxy. You have 72 hours to respond. Admiral Kenji Nakamura, Supreme Commander, Earth Defense Forces. The name at the bottom of the message sent ripples of confusion through the Council. They had no records of human military structures, no intelligence on their command hierarchy. Admiral Nakamura might as well have appeared from thin air, which, in a sense, he had. In reality, Kenji Nakamura stood in the hidden command center of Luna Base, Earth's moon having been hollowed out and converted into humanity's primary military installation. Around him, officers from every nation on Earth worked in perfect coordination, their differences set aside in the face of the greater galaxy. "Sir," reported Navigation Officer Williams, "Federation reinforcements arriving. Total count now at 47 capital ships." Nakamura sipped his tea calmly. "And our status? All hidden assets report ready. The quantum mines in the Kuiper Belt are armed. The Mars defense grid is online. The Jupiter atmospheric stations are prepared for deployment." "Excellent. And Project Nightmare?" "Dr. O'Brien reports her team is prepared for field testing." Nakamura set down his cup. "Then we wait. Let them gather their forces. The more ships they bring, the more impressive our demonstration will be." On Nexus Station, panic was beginning to set in. Every scan of the Sol system revealed new anomalies, energy signatures that shouldn't exist, structures hidden in plain sight, technology that defied their understanding of physics. How? Chancellor Vrix demanded for the 100th time. How did they achieve this level of advancement? It was Ambassador Ixion of the Archive Worlds who finally provided an answer, though not one anyone wanted to hear. "I've been reviewing our historical records," the ancient being wheezed through his respirator. 800 years ago, when we denied Earth membership, we also classified all intelligence about human technological development. No one has seriously studied human civilization since. You're saying we know nothing about them. Worse, we knew nothing and assumed everything. We judged them by our standards, never considering they might develop along entirely different paths. The implications were staggering. For 8 centuries, the Federation had treated Earth like a child locked in a room, never bothering to check what the child was building with the toys left behind. Meanwhile, in the asteroid belt, Captain Rodriguez supervised the awakening of Forge Gamma. Unlike its sister facilities, Gamma was designed for a single purpose: construction of the quantum torpedo system that Dr. Sarah O'Brien had spent 30 years perfecting. "Status report, Doctor," Rodriguez called out as he entered the main laboratory. Dr. O'Brien looked up from her calculations, her red hair tied back in a ponytail that made her look younger than her 50 years. "We're ready, Captain. Though I still recommend we start with a demonstration rather than actual deployment." "Agreed. The Admiral wants shock and awe, not casualties. What's the minimum yield that will make our point?" O'Brien's fingers danced across her holographic display. A single torpedo at 5% yield could disable a Federation dreadnought without destroying it. The quantum disruption field would shut down their systems for approximately 6 hours. Rodriguez whistled. "And at full yield." "At full yield?" O'Brien's expression grew serious. "A single torpedo could crack a small moon. But the real power isn't in the explosion. It's in the delivery system. Federation shields can't stop something that exists in multiple quantum states simultaneously." As the 72-hour deadline approached, the Federation fleet had swelled to over 200 ships, the largest gathering of military force in 1,000 years. They formed a magnificent display of power at the edge of the Sol system, their energy shields creating an aurora of light against the cosmic darkness. Admiral Zix Theta, commanding from the super dreadnought Cosmic Hammer, was confident. "No single ship, regardless of its technology, can stand against this fleet. The humans will surrender or be destroyed." His confidence lasted exactly 15 minutes. At the prescribed time, the Prometheus moved forward alone, approaching the massive Federation fleet like David facing Goliath. But unlike the ancient story, this David had a few surprises. "Federation vessels," Captain Martinez's voice carried across all channels, "you have come in force to our home system. We appreciate the honor guard, but it's unnecessary. Observe." Space around the Prometheus rippled. Suddenly, where there had been one ship, there were 50, each identical, each reading as completely real on Federation sensors. Quantum duplication, gasped a Federation scientist. But the power requirements. The 50 ships became 100, then 200. In moments, the Prometheus fleet matched the Federation numbers. Admiral Zix Theta's compound eyes widened in disbelief. Fire. All ships, fire. The Federation fleet unleashed a barrage that could have sterilized a planet. Beams of coherent energy, antimatter torpedoes, and gravitic weapons all converged on the human ships and passed right through them. Illusions. Zix Theta sputtered. Not illusions, came Martinez's calm voice. Quantum shadows. Each one is real, just occupying a slightly different dimensional frequency. But if you prefer something more concrete, the quantum shadows vanished, leaving only the original Prometheus. But now, surrounding the Federation fleet, hundreds of previously hidden human vessels deactivated their stealth systems. Ships of all sizes, from small corvettes to massive battlecruisers, formed a perfect sphere around the Federation forces. The hunters had become the hunted. "This is Admiral Nakamura." A new voice entered the channel. "Your fleet is surrounded. Your weapons are useless against our quantum shielding. You came to intimidate Earth. Instead, you've discovered that humanity has been preparing for this moment for 800 years. Now shall we discuss terms like civilized beings?" Observer Jixmar, watching from his station, finally understood the full scope of what he had been observing. The energy signatures, the hidden construction, the careful preparation. It all made sense now. Humanity hadn't just built a fleet. They had revolutionized the very nature of space warfare, and they had done it all while the Federation slept in its arrogance. As the standoff continued, one thought echoed through the minds of every Federation officer. What else had humanity been building in the silence? The answer to that question would soon shake the very foundations of galactic civilization.